Hello again. As you can see, I've been busy since pulled the gas tank out. Have the car up on the rotisserie. That's going to make it much easier for me to get to the underside to remove suspension pieces, etc., and also make some repairs to the frame rails, unibody, etc. I really like this rotisserie unit. It works really well. It's got a lot of adjustment to it. It's got a jack screw to help you balance the car, and then it's got bottle jacks at both ends to let you lift it up and down to get it to the height that you want. It's a really nice unit. I really like it. I mounted as you can see, I'm mounted to the rear bumper mounts. Had to fabricate a couple of brackets to do that. And move around to the front here. Show you how we're attached at the front. Got some adapter pieces from the people that made the rotisserie and mounted to the front bumper mounts. A couple spacers in there to hold everything together, and like I said, it'll be much easier to get the suspension off, which is the next endeavor here, and get the front and rear suspension off. First thing to do is you got to make sure I can get the brake lines loose, and then the suspension unit as a whole will drop right down after I remove a few bolts. So that's where we're going to go from there. Okay, we got the front suspension off. That wasn't too bad. Just a matter of removing a few bolts here and there. Guess we can get a quick run through of what I had to do, what I had to take off here. First thing I had to do was where the sway bar attaches to the frame, a couple bolts there on each side. I took those brackets off. Then I took off the bolts off the TC arms, which is right there, one on each side. Took the rubber bushings out. Then, where the cross arm mounts to the frame, which would be these two bolts right here on each side, that allowed the whole thing to drop down. It was hanging from the 3 bolts where the strut mounts to the top of the strut tower, and then I pulled one side off at a time and just gently let it down, and we got the whole thing out in one piece. And there it is. Okay, now we're going to attempt to remove the rear suspension. Probably could drop it out in one piece, but I think because of the weight involved, I'm going to take the strut arms off first, and then the lower control arms, and then drop the differential itself. And in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is get my light up here where it won't move on me. We're going to have to pull the parking brake cable off, get that out of the way. I've already got the get in here a little bit. I've already got the brake line disconnected. Then we'll work on the half shaft, and probably I think the easiest way to get to is remove it right there at the differential itself, and that way, once that's loose, we just pull the where am I at? There we go. We just pull those bolts out there, and the whole lower arm will drop off. Drop the whole thing down, and then we come up and take the 3 bolts off the top of the strut, and the whole assembly should drop off. That's the theory. We'll see if it works in practical application. Okay, we're taking the half shaft off, and getting the bolts off the inside they're a little hard to get to break loose, so I'll show you a little secret that I've used. Seems to work pretty well. What you do is you get your open end wrench, or a box end, I'm sorry, on the half shaft bolt, and then you get it to where it's jammed up against the side of the frame, and then you come out here, and I made a little bracket to fit on the wheel where I can get a breaker bar in there and then turn it out here, and with that jammed up there, it loosens up the bolt for me. And then once you get them loose, then they're not too bad to get off then. Also, this is a good way to get them tightened back up again. You just do everything in the opposite. That way you can get a whole lot of torque out here on this, and you don't have to get in there and try to tighten things where it's hard to get to. Okay, here we are under the car again. I've gotten the half shafts taken off the differential, and I've decided I'm going to drop the differential now. There's 2 bolts on the back that holds the differential to what they call the mustache bar that runs side to side. Got those broke loose. And then come up here to the front mount. There's 2 bolts right here. There's a center mount right there, and then 2 bolts over on the other side. That'll drop the front cross member off, and then the differential will come right out. And we'll get that out of the way. Okay, with a little help from the jack stand there, the differential is out. Now, we just take out a couple of bolts right here on the underside to take the back side of the lower arms off, and then the 3 bolts in the top of the strut, and the whole strut assembly is out. So almost done. Okay, last step. Got the floor jack just kind of lightly resting underneath the lower control arm there, just to keep the thing from falling on the floor when you pull these 3 bolts out right here on the top. Get those loose, and it should stay in the tower there, not move anywhere side to side, and then we can just come back here and lower the jack down, and we got it out. And there it is. Just came out real nice. Just got the other side to do, and we'll be done. Okay, here we go. It's time to go to work now. As you can see, we've got the car up on the rotisserie. It's rotated. This is the way to go about working on a car. Got everything on the underside just ready right there to work on it. Clean things up, get things straightened around. Got a little bit of work to do on the frame rails. They're kind of, I don't know if we can get it in here. You can see they're kind of dented in a little bit along in here, kind of pushed in. Shouldn't matter too much. I mean, we can straighten that out, and then the class I'm in allows me to strengthen this stuff up. So this is the worst one right here. It's like somebody hit something, ran across something and dented it in, but we can get that straightened away. A little bit of damage right here on the cross member, but all in all, it looks pretty clean. No signs of rust. That's the big thing. Looks pretty clean. All right. Let the fun begin.